Hello, everybody. How are you? I want to first say thank you so much for weathering the storm to get here. We had gotten news at first that the live stream wasn't working, but we just got news that the live stream is working. So there are people at home who will be able to join in with us tonight. Thank you for coming to be a part of this Black History Month celebration as we continue to celebrate the lives of so many people who've given such a great contribution to this country, to make it a better place, and to make sure that others have the freedoms that they fought so hard for. I'm going to start with a poem by Langston Hughes entitled, I Too. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to the kitchen to eat when company comes, but I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I will be at the table when company comes. Nobody dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I looked over Jordan and what did I see? Coming for to carry me home. A band of angels coming after me, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. If you get there before I do, coming for to carry me home. Tell all my friends I'm coming too, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. I'm sometimes up, I'm sometimes down, coming for to carry me home. But still my soul feels heavenly bound, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home.
A reading from Isaiah. Is it not rather the fast that I choose, releasing bound unjustly, untying the thongs of the yoke, setting free the oppressed, breaking off every yoke? Is it not sharing your bread with the hungry, bringing the afflicted and the homeless into your house, clothing the naked when you see them, and not turning your back on your flesh? Then your light shall break forth like the dawn, and your wound shall quickly be healed. Your vindication shall go before you, and the glory of the Lord shall be your rear guard.
to the sun. Weight on my shoulders, a bullet in my gun. Oh, I got eyes in the back of my head, just in case I have to run. I do what I can when I can, while I can for my people. While the clouds roll back
of COVID, we have lost a lot of people. And many have known the reports that the African American community is one of the hardest hit communities. And so, in remembering those that we've lost within the African American communities and others, I want to be able to remind us where we go and what happens, that we don't have to be sad anymore. So there's a poem by James Weldon Johnson, who also wrote the Black National Anthem that we will sing at the end. But he wrote this poem called Go Down Death. Weep not, for she's not dead. She's resting in the bosom of Jesus. Heartbroken husband, weep no more. Left lonesome daughter, weep no more. Grief-stricken son, weep no more. She has only gone home. Day before yesterday morning, God was looking down from his great high heavens, looking down on all his children, and his eyes fell upon Sister Caroline, tossing on her bed of pain. And God's great heart was filled with pity, the everlasting pity. And God sat back on his throne and commanded this tall, bright angel standing at his right hand, "Call me death." And that tall, bright angel cried in a voice that broke like a clap of thunder, "Call death, call death." And it echoed down the streets of heaven till it reached way back in the shadowy place where death awaits with his pale white horses. And death heard the summons, and he leaped on his fastest horse, pale as a sheet in the moonlight. Up the golden street death galloped, and the hoofs from his horse struck fire from the gold, but they didn't make no sound. On death rode to the great white throne and waited for God's command. And God said, "Go down, death, go down. Go down to Savannah, Georgia, down in Yarmacraw, and find Sister Caroline. She's borne the burden and the heat of the day. She's labored long in my vineyard. Go down, death, and bring her to me." And death didn't say a word, but he loosened the reins on his pale white horse, and he clapped the spurs in his bloodless side, and out and down he came, through heaven pearly gates, past suns, moons, and stars. On death road, leaving the lightning's flash behind, straight on down he came. While we were watching around her bed, she turned her eyes and looked away. She saw something we couldn't see. She saw, oh death, she saw, oh death, coming like a falling star. But death didn't frighten Sister Caroline. He looked to her like a welcomed friend, and she whispered to us, "I'm going home." And she smiled and closed her eyes. And death took her up like a baby, and she lay in his icy arms, but she didn't feel no chill. And death began to ride again, up beyond the evening star, out beyond the morning star, into the glittering light of glory, on to the great white throne. And there he laid Sister Caroline on the loving breast of Jesus. And Jesus took his own hands and wiped away her tears. He smoothed the furrows from her face. The angel sang a little song as Jesus rocked her in his arms and kept saying, "Take your rest. Take your rest. Take your rest. Weep not, weep not,
For she's not dead. She's rested in the bosom of Jesus.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that host all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. The leader looks like the Israelite. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. See that band all dressed in red. God's gonna trouble the water. Oh, look, the band that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. If you don't believe I've been redeemed, God's gonna trouble the water. Just follow me down to Jordan stream. God's gonna trouble the water. Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water.
I am a Negro, black as the night is black, black like the depths of my Africa. I've been a slave. Caesar told me to keep his doorsteps clean. I brushed the boots of Washington. I've been a worker. Under my hand, the pyramids arose. I made mortar for the Woolworth building. I've been a singer all the way from Africa to Georgia. I carried my sorrow songs. I made ragtime. I've been a victim. The Belgians cut off my hands in the Congo. They lynch me still in Mississippi. I am a Negro, black as the night is black, black like my depths of Africa. First and foremost, I wish to thank all of our volunteers who stepped up to help put this program together tonight. To Pamela, Veronica, Connor, Sarah, to Stephanie, Claire, and definitely Elizabeth for that wonderful interpretation of Stand Up. I also want to thank Father Manning for hearing my desire to bring this to St. Mary's and blessing this program with the full extent of your support. I want to thank my partner Ron for his assistance in connecting me with the people of St. Mary's and for his continued support in everything that I do. And lastly, I have to say thank you again to Claire. From our very first conversation regarding wanting to do this, she and I connected so well. Well, we had a great time discussing this event and keeping the mindset that we are doing something good to honor the stories and the lives of Black people. It truly has been a pleasure to work with such a wonderful soul as her, so thank you, Claire. Before I get into my sharing, I will admit that some of what I say may be uncomfortable, but hopefully being uncomfortable will cause you to think about it for a few days and come to know and do as John Lewis instructed us to do. Get into trouble, necessary trouble. How this all came about in the first place was the fact that I recognized St. Mary's and what they have done in such a great way of acknowledging the struggle that Blacks have had to face. From the banner out front with the names of Black lives that had been killed unjustly, to the book club selection of racial justice and the Catholic Church as one of their selections. I see you. As a Black man, after time and time again of seeing Black men being killed by police in the streets was very scary and unsettling. I could not watch each of the incidents and not see myself. It was happening so frequently that I started asking myself, am I next? Imagine having the feeling every time you step outside your home, will I make it back alive? Or having to tell yourself, walk correct, speak correct, don't say or do anything that will cause someone to call the cops on you. If you can imagine having to do that, then I am sure you can understand that it's not a good feeling. We celebrate Black history because there are so many Black people that made great contributions to the American experience. Just to name a few, Cicely Tyson, an American actress whose career spanned more than 7 decades, and she became known for her portrayal of strong Black women, like in the autobiography of Miss Jane Pittman. Thomas L. Jennings. In 1821, he was one of the first African Americans to be granted a patent for his method of dry cleaning. Marie Van Britten Brown. She was the inventor of the home security system in 1966, along with her husband, Albert Brown. Garrett Morgan paved the way for African American inventors with his patents for hair straightening products, revamped sewing machines, and the traffic light. Madam C.J. Walker, she is recorded as the first Black female self-made millionaire in America in the Guinness Book of World Records. She made her fortune thanks to her homemade line of hair care products for Black women. Barack Obama became the 44th president of the United States and was the first African American to hold that office. Kamala Harris, she is the United States' first female vice president, the highest ranking female official in U.S. history, and is the first African American and first Asian American to do so. These are just to name a few. There are things that you enjoy right in your home that were invented by Black people. We have been and will always be resilient people. even when there are many that will do everything that they can to try to keep us down. That resilience is due to the struggle Black people endured during slavery. Slaves endured a great deal in order for others to be free. Slaves were willing to go miles on foot, under wagons, in rivers, and even in coffins, by any means necessary, just to be free. Freedom did come, but in many ways, as a people, we are still not free. There are still those that see us as the slaves our ancestors were, and that killing us is still the way of trying to keep us down. I am glad that the footage of George Floyd taking his last breath played over and over again on every channel because you could not ignore it. If it had only played once, then maybe many of you would have turned a blind eye and said, "It doesn't affect me." But while watching him dying in that 8 minutes and 46 seconds over and over again forced many to see what had been going on for years, long before cell phone cameras existed. The struggles that Black people face today are still in line with the struggles faced by our ancestors that were slaves. The racism that many faced during slavery and Jim Crow era has not died. The racist response, "all lives matter," to people saying Black lives matter, is evident of the ignorance that cost so many lives then and now. The reality is, all lives can't matter until Black lives matter. So we celebrate Black History this month, but for Black people, we celebrate every day of the year because we are Black every day of the year and not just in February. But here is the thing about history. It has been said that if you don't learn from history, you are doomed to repeat it. What happened at University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia on August 11, 2017, at the Unite the Right rally, was a direct repeat of the angry white mobs that carried torches in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greenwood District that burned down what was known as Black Wall Street. Yes, there was a time where Black people owned their own businesses in their own town, had their own banks, and even their own planes. But because a white woman falsely accused a Black man of rape, those white people that were envious of the upper class lifestyles of the Blacks in Greenwood burned it down. 35 city blocks went up in flames. 300 people died and 800 were injured. We saw that same anger and hatred on those white faces as they came out of the woods bearing those torches, chanting and screaming hate. The only way that we will combat this hate and ensure that Black kids of the future will have the same opportunities as their white counterparts is if we sit down with each other and talk about the truth. The existence of systemic racism in our country is the truth. We first have to admit it exists so we can do everything we can to uproot it. And white people have to admit that, and once they do, they have to also admit the same way that they have white privilege. White privilege allows you to be treated with such respect just because of the color of your skin. The same way that many of us are treated with disrespect just because of the color of our skin.
A prime example of white privilege is January the 6th, 2021. We can pretend all we want, but we know if that had been a Black Lives Matter protest that stormed the Capitol building in DC, there would have been more than 5 people killed. White privilege told those people they could storm the Capitol and nothing would happen to them. And that day, for many, nothing happened to them. Some were able to walk away and boast of what they had done. Black people are not asking much except the fact of you owning your privilege and using it for good. Are you willing to help call out racism when you see it happening, or will you choose to turn a blind eye because it does not affect you? Using your voice and your privilege to speak up against racism as we use our voices helps our voices to be heard. I truly believe that the world reacted so positively to the Black Lives Matter protest last summer because white people realized they could no longer just sit and look away and ignore what was right in front of their eyes. That they too had to march and speak up for racial justice. It's my job to share with you my experiences and my truth, but it's not my job to educate you on how your privilege gives you the advantage to live life much differently than I or other Black people in this country. As I continue to do my work to find my strength and learn from the fighters of justice in Black history, I hope that you will continue to do your work and find your voice to join with me and others like me at the table of unity so we can do everything we can to uproot the hatred that plagues our communities, our cities, and our country. Together, we can. So, for the rest of Black History Month, please take the time to learn more about all those that paved the way, opened the doors, smashed glass ceilings, and made major contributions to help America be the greatest country on this earth. But don't stop with this month. Help make it better every month. God bless you.
I Rise by Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise.
Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I got oil wells pumping in my living room.
Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hope springing high, still I'll rise.
Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries.
Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awfully hard, 'cause I'll laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard.
You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise.
Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs?
Out of the huts of history's shame,
Up from a past that's rooted in pain,
I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide.
welling and swelling, I bear in the tide.
Leaving behind the nights of terror and fear.
Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear.
Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave.
I am the dream and the hope of the slave.
I rise,
I rise, I rise.
Lift every voice and sing till the earth heaven ring, ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith of the dark path has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us, facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. Stony the road we trod, bitter the chastening rod, felt in the days when hope unborn had died. Yet with a steady beat, have not our weary feet come to the place for which our people signed. We have come over a way that the tears has been watered. We have come treading our path through the blood of the slaughtered. Out on the gloomy past, till now we stand at last, where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, who thou hast brought us thus far on the way, thou who hast by the from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, shadowed be